I'm Instructor Jason, one of the instructors at Krav Maga Self-Defense. Jeff Cooper's color code can be found on the KMG P4 curriculum under the tactical pillar. So Jeff Cooper was a United States Marine, firearms expert, and creator of modern technique of handgun shooting. He founded Gunsight Academy, formerly known as the American Pistol Institute, to teach his methods of pistol, shotgun, and rifle handling to law enforcement, military personnel, and civilians. So that's pretty much what I was able to quickly dig up from the internet about Jeff Cooper. So he started the color code of situational awareness. That's what we have right here. We have white, yellow, orange, red, and black. So initially, looking through the internet, I got the impression that at the start, this color coding scheme for situational awareness was geared towards more gun and combat sort of context. Of course, the founder being a former Marine, so he probably draws from his experience with that. So I took the liberty of summarizing definitions in my own words to have a more general sort of self-defense scope about the color coding for situational awareness. White is you are unprepared, unready, you're not paying attention, relaxed, you're not alert at all. Something happens, you will be surprised, and you will have a delayed or undesirable response. So pretty much that relaxed mental state or too relaxed, depending on where you are or the context. Yellow, relaxed or casual alertness. So you're mindful of your surroundings, you're casually observing your environment and the people around you. If something happens, you will have a certain level of preparedness and may have a quicker and more desirable type of response. This is where you most likely do the double take when something catches your attention. So you have that casual attention about you, but not really concentrated. Hence, sometimes you'll do the double take. You'll notice something, but hey, what's that? You have to check it out again. Orange, slightly more heightened awareness and more proactive, pretty much. There is no specific or defined threat or danger, but you are likely to be in an area where it exists and the potential for it to occur is likely. You are paying more attention to your environment and surroundings, being sensitive to anomalies. So a little more concentration on this one, a little more alertness. Then red is the heightened awareness. There's a specific threat or danger you are looking out for and actively looking around for it. So, there's something out there. It's defined, confirmed that there's something out there and you're looking for it because you want to see it coming for you. You're also prepared to respond immediately when something happens. So this is pretty much the highest level of alertness, preparedness, or mental preparedness you would have. Then black, you are now involved in a situation. It can range from a simple confrontation or something that's life-threatening. It could also be a disaster situation where you have to get yourself and people with you to somewhere else, to somewhere safe. So to put a little more context on this, let's put this in sort of since I just got from holidays and I previously shared as well what's happened to me. Let's put it in a traveling context, which I think is a good example because you are somewhere that you're not familiar with, a foreign land. So I think you will be jumping in and out of these levels as you go along. So white, let's say you're traveling, white, pretty much you're in your hotel room. The door's locked, sort of a deemed safe area, but Hopefully, you're still aware of the fire exits and and maybe notice a few security gaps in your hotel or hotel room. And also, another common white code being unprepared or not alert is you're walking around in public with your phone and you're just fully concentrating on your phone and you're aware not fully aware of what's going on around you. So yellow, um, when you're walking around while traveling in a foreign place, we're mostly in yellow mode because you're soaking up the scenery, the environment, you're scanning, so you're aware of all these people walking to and walking around you, vehicles that might be passing by. Uh, yeah. Orange, while in the traveling context, this might be an area where, because of your research or a bit of a reputation, might not be as safe as the other areas. So then you have that higher alert. So it could be thieves, pickpockets, especially in Europe. So you tend to look around more, be alert more, because you know you're in an area where something could happen. This is also what I feel is the mode where a lot of behavioral observation and suspicious activity recognition can be done or comes into play, because there's nothing specific you're looking out for, but you are on that higher level of attention to your environment, looking for bad actors that could potentially be targeting you or doing something to you. Then red, in the traveling context, you've identified some bad actors in the area, and you're taking some proactive precautions now because you've identified them, you're avoiding them, or as you're being alert and moving around, you might even notice them following you. They might have seen you as a target, someone they can steal from, and they're waiting for the opportunity and just following you. So that heightened level as well means you're prepared for an altercation, and you may have an escape plan ready if something does happen, because that heightened alertness and preparedness. Black, pretty much something is already happening to you. So you've been engaged by a bad actor, or you find yourself in an altercation that you have to de-escalate and get out of, or a disaster is occurring, something dangerous is occurring, and you need to get yourself or the people you're with, your loved one, out of there. And so that's the black. So with black, I'll just share a long time ago when I was 19. So I was born and raised in the Philippines. So back in the Philippines, we had this place called Malate, and it was this street party district back in the day. And it was a popular place to be and go to. And it was lined up with all these establishments, pubs, clubs, and all that. And all these establishments lined up along that Malate street, which is like the party street, have this elevated sort of porch to get into their premises. So I'm there with my girlfriend then, and first time to be there, we were checking it out, very out of my comfort zone because it was far from where I live, but okay, we'll check it out. It was the in thing, so you gotta take your missus there and you show her a good time. While we were there in the street, and I suddenly heard all these pops, pop, pop, pop. The whole crowd on the street stopped and looked to where that sound was coming from. It was in sync. Everyone was in sync. And as soon as they saw where the sound's coming from, everyone sat down on the floor. sort of hit the deck or just crouched down. And I was the one who was foolish enough to not do that. And at least when everyone went down, I saw what was going on. And in hindsight, it, I it was a street gang doing a hit on another gang or another person. So they were using these, I'll loosely call it fake firearms, where you have these backyard blacksmiths making these fake firearms. At that time, that was like the revolver type firearms. They'll fire a proper round. Maybe the rounds are fake too, but it won't last as well as the real thing, but it still does the job. And you can, I heard it still works. And they were also throwing these, what you call pillbox, these grenades, sort of, where gunpowder is taped tightly with shrapnel and is taped tightly. And when you throw it, it hits the ground, it explodes, and the shrapnel goes all over the place. So they were hitting, they did a hit on someone, I guess a rival gang member, or I don't know, most likely. So when everyone crouched down and I saw that, I'm like, okay, black. I didn't know the color coding then, but that was definitely black. Everyone stood up, did an about face, and started running. So that's when I really felt afraid for myself and my girlfriend then, because we were in the middle of a human stampede, or what was starting to escalate into a human stampede. I grabbed her right away, and I had to push my way to the side, go up on those elevated porches, and try to get into one of the establishments. A lot of people have run in before us, and I guess they were full, or the staff thought, for their, in hindsight, for their safety, they closed the door and wouldn't let me in. At that time, I was angry and pissed off at them, but in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I can't blame them. That's a safety call that they did. We can't let any more people in. And so, since we couldn't get into that safe area, we stayed at the porch, so we're out of the way of the human stampede, and I just had to take her into a corner and just secure her there, and me be the shield, cover her. And what I was worried about, and luckily it didn't happen, is that if everyone's passed, the stampede is passed, maybe the ones who were doing the shooting and all that, all the badness, might walk down the road and trip on us, people who stayed. But luckily that didn't happen. So they probably did their hit and they left the opposite direction, or tried to run and hide before the police came. But yeah, that was preparing for this video, that triggered a memory. Overall, I think that we turned out all right. But in hindsight, that incident has just saw me going through all these colors. We're partying, no worries, and then you hear something, huh? What's this? And then, what? Everyone crouches down, and you look some more. What's happening? Oh, okay, someone's being shot, or some grenades are being thrown. And then people turn around. That suddenly red is like, okay, something's going on. Looks like people are gonna stampede, and they do, and I had to do something. Luckily, it was the right call, and we all turned out all right. So, black is where the fight and flight, or the freeze happens, because that's where we're under stress. That's where the situation actually is, or pardon the French, when the shit has hit the fan. So, Krav Maga training under the KMG curriculum addresses this through the summary drills and scenario training that we have in class. Every class would have summary drills and scenario training. And this is the stress inoculation that's provided in training. Slowly inoculating you in this stressful environment, in a stressful situation, simulating a stressful situation in a safe environment. And slowly but surely you're getting used to the stress, inoculated, and your threshold for stress gets higher and higher. And so in stressful situations, the more you can think clearly, and be able to survive that or get out of it unscathed. So simulating black color code in the class, in the summary drills will pretty much gets your inoculation up, and that also addresses the freezing. So if we freeze because we haven't, to oversimplify the freezing is we've gone into a situation where we've never been before, and our brain doesn't know what to do. We don't know what to do, and that's because of the freeze. And we'll discuss that more when we talk about the OODA loop, which is another topic for another day. But that we'll get more into that pretty soon. So you can use this color code system, Jeff Cooper's color code system, as a reference to indicate your mental state and level of situational awareness, and what it should be when in certain locations and situations. So if you're planning a trip, go back into the travel context, which is pretty good to explain this. Of course, before you travel now, with the miracles of social media and YouTube, you can do a lot of research on the places you'll be going to. You can and read a lot of forums from other travelers. You can see this area. I think I'll need to be a bit orange here. This area, a lot of tourists, very crowded. Yeah, I gotta look for some. I gotta do some behavioral observation and try to identify some bad actors if there are. And some situations, hopefully it doesn't turn to red, but if you know the area is really bad, you want to avoid. But it can happen. It can happen. So to learn more Krav Maga, to learn more KMG self-defense techniques, train with us at KravMagaSelfDefense.com.au.